My name is Evans Misati. I'm a member of this selection panel, and we welcome you to this interactive session.
Now, Mr. Lemiso, we would like you to introduce yourself to us, a brief profile of yourself, detailing why you think you're suitable for this position and from where you have come, and indicate if you have any honors and if you're a member of any professional group. Please proceed.
Thank you, Chair. I want to start by thanking you, Chair, and the panel for inviting me to this interview. Chair, my name is Godfrey Lemiso, and I'm a son of two counties. I come from Narok and Kajiado counties, but for purposes of this exercise, Chair, I come from Kajiado. My ID reads Kajiado County. Chair, I have a bachelor's degree from Kenyatta University. I graduated in 1995. I also possess a Master of Arts degree in Peace and Justice Studies from the University of San Diego, California, USA. Chair, in terms of trainings, I've undergone numerous trainings over the years that I believe have prepared me sufficiently to handle this particular assignment. Chair, I've been trained on project management and project monitoring and evaluation. I believe that these two skills will come in handy in the Commission. Chair, I've also undergone a leadership training. I've undergone mwongozo. I've undergone geospatial training in data management, and I believe this particular skill will also come in handy during boundary delimitation. Chair, I've undergone peace building and conflict resolution training. I have undergone paralegal training. I'm a paralegal worker. Chair, I've also undergone training on negotiation, as well as I mentioned peace building. Chair, and as far as my career development is concerned, Chair, I started off as a trained teacher. Thereafter, I was employed by the Catholic Diocese of Ngong as a lands officer, and basically I used to process title deeds, attend land control boards, and coordinate survey work. Thereafter, Chair, I was given another position as a Justice and Peace Program Coordinator. And in the context of the Catholic Church, and I'm sure there are Catholics here, the Catholic Justice and Peace Commission deals with issues of human rights, civic education, elections, particularly voter education, voter mobilization, and election observation. Justice and Peace Commission also deals with peace building, advocacy, and land rights, to mention but a few. Chair, I did that work for about 10 years while I was working for the Catholic Diocese of Ngong. Chair, towards 1997 elections, there was a national project that was funded, I think, by NDI, National Democratic Institute. And this particular project aimed at deploying election observers in all polling stations across the country. Chair, I happen to be the focal person for Narok and Kajiado counties. And Chair, I coordinated recruitment, training, deployment, and accreditation of election observers in all polling stations in Narok and Kajiado counties. And I think, Chair, that's the first time the electoral bag beat me. Although earlier I had participated as a registration officer and registration officer during ECK. Chair, at around 2001, there was yet another national project, this time round that was coordinated by, it was called KEDOP, Kenya Domestic Election Program, and it was under the auspices of IED, I remember, and then the Catholic Justice and Peace Commission, ECK, and Chair, again, I was the focal person for the two districts, Kajiado and Narok, and again, I coordinated training, accreditation and deployment of election observers again in all the polling stations in the 2 districts. At around the same time, Chair, because we were approaching 2005, and remember we had the first referendum. Chair, we had a project that was called 𝐲𝐸𝐴. It was a national program that was meant to carry out civic education across the country. That time, the clarion call was the Kenya we want. And again, Chair, I was the focal person again for Kajiado and Narok districts. And we did a lot of civic education. We worked with churches. I remember we even had Muslims. We worked with churches, women groups, youth groups. We worked with civil society organizations. And that was towards now the 2005 elections. Chair, it was during that time that the American embassy officials noticed my work. They recognized my work. I was very hardworking. And I was actually given a scholarship to go to the US to undertake my master's degree. That was a Fulbright scholarship. So, Chair, I am a Fulbright scholar. Chair, I went to the US, came back, and when I came back, I joined a World Bank funded project that was called Early Runs Resource Management Project as a conflict management officer. And I did a lot of peace building work in northern Kenya, because during that time, northern Kenya was a bit, the conflicts were coming, there was drought and overgrass, water, and I was taken there to carry out peace building work. I remember I worked with organizations like Oxfam. I collaborated with the UNDP and the provincial administration. Chair, at this juncture, I want to recognize my mentor in this field. Although she died, Madam Deka Ibrahim, she really mentored me, and I really did a lot of work in the North. And whenever I visit the North, Chair, I still find, elders doing peace work, courtesy of the training I offered then. Chair, later I joined the UNDP in the same sector, peace building sector. And come 2010, Chair, I was beaten by the election bug again, and I left UNDP and I joined IEBC, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, this time as a manager, electoral planning and logistics. Chair, after that, we embarked on preparation for the 2010 referendum, and my role was preparation of the referendum operation plan. Chair, we executed the referendum. I was the one who distributed all the materials, including ballot papers for the referendum. And then after that, we embarked on assisting the commission to craft the regulations, the IEBC Act, and the Elections Act. Chair, I am proud because during that time, I'm the one who actually proposed the commission the different colors of the ballot papers. The white for president, the blue for governor, the yellow for senator, the green for the National Assembly, the purple for the women rep, and the beige for the MCA. So after that, Chair, we executed again the 2013 elections very well. I distributed all the materials, including the ballot papers. And Chair, in 2013, we did not have emergency airlifting of ballot papers at all. I made sure that all the ballot papers went to the specific constituencies. Chair, after that, I've been involved in many things. I've assisted, because I resigned from the commission, but I've assisted political parties in conducting nominations. I assisted the Jubilee Party to conduct the 2017 elections, party primaries, and I also assisted the UDA party to conduct the party primaries in 2022. Chair, I've served as a board member at Early Waterworks Development Agency, and also as a chair of Rural Electrification and Renewable Energy Corporation. Chair, let me mention that before I conclude, I'm currently the chair of REREC, Rural Electrification, and as a chair, I must point out that I have managed to stabilize that organization. Chair, we did a new strategic plan. We launched it in 2023. And Chair, I must say that REDEC is now stable. We were able to turn around the period the projects are done. Initially, it used to take a long, but now at least 2 months. 2 months the projects are ready. Chair, I've also facilitated because the CEO and the general managers, Chair, we made sure now that it signed the performance contract so that at least as they try to work, they also remember that the board is watching because they've signed performance contracts with us. Chair, I have international exposure. I've worked for, well, I was in the US. I worked
I'd like
for...
you now to focus more on what you bring to the IEBC, because we've been going for about 8 minutes now. I'd like you to focus on what is it that you bring.
Thank you, Chair. I am a practitioner. I am an election practitioner. I've done elections. I've conducted elections, Chair, and therefore elections are not new to me. If it's about induction, Chair, I know what the materials are. I know strategic materials. I know non-strategic materials. I know the polling stations. Chair, I was also involved in boundary delimitation, and therefore I know boundary delimitation is pending. I've done geospatial data management, and therefore I think I'll come in handy even when the Commission is undertaking boundary delimitation. Chair, I did mention that I've done project management. I've done monitoring and evaluation. When you're undertaking, when you are executing the election operation plan, Chair, it's more or less like you're undertaking project management. And therefore, those skills will also come in handy when I'll be executing the election operation plan. Okay. Chair, I also have a passion for elections. I said I started dealing with elections during ECK time.
When did you leave IEBC?
I left IEBC in 2017.
What were the reasons of departure?
I resigned on my own volition. Okay. I did a resignation letter.
Okay, thank you. I want to invite Carol to ask you some questions. Carol, please.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm here. Good morning.
Morning. Morning.
So you have been involved in the conduct of elections in the past. So the law requires the IBC to make sure or to progressively deploy the use of technology in electoral processes. In your opinion, and should you become successful and become a member of the IBC, apart from the 𝐲𝐞𝐚𝐫 kit, what other areas can technology be deployed to enhance the electoral management in Kenya?
Thank you very much. Apart from the 𝐲𝐞𝐚𝐫 kit, there are several other areas, and I'll start with the Commission itself. During registration of candidates, ICT, the Commission deploys candidates registration system. There is another one, the resource transmission. There is BVR. For voter registration, there is a resource transmission and the voter registration.
And that's the technology IBC is currently using, you know, in the 𝐲𝐞𝐚 system that is caters off from the voter registration to the voter identification to the transmission of results. So we are asking, in addition to that, which other areas can IBC tap into and deploy technology in management of elections?
Thank you. I'll go to my area of specialization, that is logistics. And I've been wondering, because if you consider Maersk the biggest shipping company, when they are shipping goods, those goods can be tracked from China, Shanghai, to the port of Mombasa. And then when we are distributing ballot papers in this country, we find ballot papers for constituency X ending up in constituency Y. So for me, I think I'll insist on an ICT solution to ensure that ballot papers are distributed on in good time. We are able to track them along the way and also ensure that they reach the polling stations intact and in good time also. Number two, that is one. Chair, again, in elections, the materials, they are they are brought, they are supplied in bulk. So I want to see an IT solution that will assist the commission, even when they are distributing materials. They know that these pens will end up in constituency X, these others will go to this other constituency, just to bring on board ICT so that we make this process easier. Again, Chair, Madam, sorry, when we are doing boundary delimitation, I think it's important that we incorporate the latest ICT solutions so that we also minimize on the time that it takes to do boundary delimitation.
What in your view is that recent technology for boundaries delimitation? What is it?
Geospatial, ArcGIS. We have ArcGIS, we have geospatial. Yes.
What about voter education? Anything that technology can help with?
Voter education, dissemination of information. I'm thinking of the youth because the youth are tech savvy, and if we can leverage on technology to carry out voter education, we can even do use WhatsApp, we can use TikTok, we can use Facebook to carry out voter education. And then there is this question of misinformation. I think we also need to look into that and leverage on ICT so that at least we also minimize and I'm thinking of these algorithms because that one works to solve problems. We can use it in voter education.
Thank you, Mr. Lemiso. I wish you well. Thank you, Chair.
What do you mean by algorithms?
These are computer-based solutions that are used to solve computer problems.
So how will we use computer problem solutions called algorithms to
they can be used, especially when you are dealing with misinformation. They can be used to correct the information that goes out to the public.
I want to ask Koki to ask you some questions, please.
Thank you very much, Chair, and karibu tena, Mr. Lemiso. You indicated that you have worked for the IEBC since IIEC and then IEBC since 2010. Have you undergone any training related to elections while you are in the IIEC, transitioned to IEBC until 2017? That's like 7 years?
Yes, we underwent many internal trainings. The first time we joined the commission, we were taken through because, again, I was fresh. I had not conducted election logistics, and therefore internally the commission exposed us, it trained us internally.
Thank you. I am asking that because most of the candidates who have been at IEBC since 2010 have a lot of certificates, but I see you have not included any on that training. Nevertheless, can you name 3 broad phases of the electoral process?
The pre, during, and after. Pre, you do voter education. You also do mobilization. You do the proposals. During
Mobilization of what?
the
Mobilization of?
of resources. You do mobilization of resources during pre. You do the budgeting. During, you conduct the elections. You do voter registration. After, you do post-election evaluation. And the cycle now goes back.
Okay. Why is the electoral process operationalized in an electoral cycle? What is the rationale?
Pardon?
Why is the electoral process, all these activities you are mentioning in different phases, why are they operationalized in an electoral cycle with those phases that you mentioned? What is the rationalization for that?
Because elections is continuous. It does not start and end. It is continuous. When you start with voter education, you move to registration of voters, you go to elections, and then you do the reports. Then again, it's a cycle. It goes round. Elections is not an event. It's a number of things, and they keep on changing and repeating themselves.
Thank you very much. Lastly, does the voter registration affect the outcome of the election?
It affects the outcome of elections in a very big way. One, because the results of elections, the people who participate in the elections must be registered in the first place. For you to vote, you must be in that register of voters. I think the issue also of the turnout is also important, because it's only the people who are in the register that can be counted and said to have turned out, so that the percentage of the people who have participated can be established.
Thank you, Mr. Lemiso, and all the best. Chair, thank you.
Very much. I ask FCPA Tenwe to ask you some questions. FCPA, please.
Thank you, Chair. Bwana Lemiso, you told us you participated in the boundaries delimitation. Specifically, what was your role in that process, in the current boundaries that we have?
Thank you. That's a good question. The process of boundary delimitation was started earlier by Independent Boundaries Delimitation Commission. It was independent interim Independent Boundaries Commission. It started that work, and then it lapsed, their term lapsed. And then that function was transferred to IEBC to complete. And therefore, in that process, we did a stakeholder engagement. And we also, because we did the geospatial training, we also assisted the commission in determining, because there are so many memorandums from the communities, from constituencies, from the wards. So we were actually now looking at those memorandums and advising the commission.
But is it true that the boundaries, whatever out of the public participation, those boundaries as delimited by IBRC were never changed? They were upheld.
They were upheld?
Upheld, yes, despite the memoranda.
Chair, that was the role of the commission. You were...
No, IBRC,
yes.
IEBC took over, but the work, most of the work had been done. Actually, all the work had been done by IBRC, but you are validating. And during the public...
yes, and we went for public participation.
Yes.
Actually, I remember I went to Marsabit. And
but what I'm saying is that the boundaries determined by IBRC were never changed, even arising from that.
By and large?
By large?
By and large.
Not all of them?
Not all of them.
Okay. Now let's move to my question on accountability in public institutions. And you've shared with us that You've been the chair of REREC. Eh? For how long have you been the chair of REREC?
Since 2023.
Yeah,
April.
but you've also been a board member.
Yes.
To what extent is the 𝐲𝐞𝐸 Code of Governance applicable to IEBC, in the governance of IEBC?
Thank you. That's a good question. It's actually applicable not just to IEBC, but to private sector. Because it talks about governance, it talks about the role of boards, and when I reflect, it's also the role of commissioners. Like they are supposed to have teamwork, consensus, and all that. So if you read it, you read the mwongozo, you remove the word board and put the commission, it fits very well. Even the board committees, because in the board, maybe you have about 4. In the commission, there are many. But the way, the manner those boards, the committees operate is the same manner the commission committees operate.
Now, if you look at it clearly, the 𝐲𝐸 Code is for state corporations, isn't it? And board members of state corporations are appointed on a part-time basis. They are supposed to meet on a quarterly basis. But commissioners are full-time. They are reporting 8 to 5. So how would you marry the two? How does this code, which is specific to part-timers who meet on a quarterly basis, who only provide strategic directions, but here are commissioners who are full-time, and they have a secretariat, not even management, unlike for the board?
I said the commission can borrow from mwongozo. And of course, I know the directors are not there permanently, but we can borrow from mwongozo. Issues of governance, issues of procurement, because IEBC depends on Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act. The same applies to the boards, the state corporations. But now that the difference of the boards being temporary and not being full-time does not really affect the mwongozo. And according to me, the commission can borrow a lot from mwongozo.
So specifically, you can specify to us, what are those specifics that you can borrow now and implement at specifically on governance?
The governance, the role of the board, this oversight role of the board is the same as the oversight role of the commission. The issues like conflict management, I think the issues of consensus building, because the issues of team building, those ones, the board, the commission really needs those ones, and they are amplified in the mwongozo. Meetings, also the way the boards are constituted, I know that's not the way the commissions are constituted, but at least we can still borrow the way meetings are handled at the board level and at the commission level.
But how many meetings as a commissioner is supposed to have at IEBC?
I think they determine their own meetings, but for the board, we have 4, at least quarterly meeting, and other small special meetings, which we must seek authority or concurrence from the ministry.
Thank you, and I wish you all the best. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. I want to ask Evans Misati to ask you some questions, please. Evans.
Thanks so much, Chair. Lemiso, as we are trying to understand your suitability in terms of understanding the IEBC governance, please tell this panel your understanding of the activities that can be done with the core resources of IEBC and the specific activities that cannot be done by the donor support.
Thank you very much. When it comes to donor support, I think the first thing I'll ask myself is whether there are strings attached in that particular support. And therefore, there are very specific activities that you cannot allow the donors to support. I'll encourage donors to support voter education, for instance. I'll encourage donors to support the publication of materials, the manuals. I'll encourage donors to support awareness, but I'll not allow donors now to come in and conduct the core business. I mean, even to procure ballot papers for the commission, you cannot allow that. To procure strategic materials for the commission, you cannot allow that. And I think they can also support stakeholder engagement, so long as the agenda is known.
What are the risks you associate with that?
I did point out that in the beginning, the hidden agenda, you don't know why the donors come in, you don't know the agenda. And then, of course, the legal framework of the country, you don't know whether it really fits in our legal framework. And then the issue of sustainability, as it's risky if you take in their proposals, let's say, for instance, ICT, and they are not compatible with ours. So you have to be very clear and also identify the risk involved in now the entire process.
Good. So the last question I'll ask you is related to boundary limitation. And looking at the time that we have before the 2027 general elections, do you think it's practically possible for us to carry out boundary limitations in view of the period that is remaining, and then give your reasons for both scenarios, when we are able to do it and when we are not able to do it?
Thank you. That's a good question. Let me appreciate that we ought to have concluded that process by March of 2024, last year. And I'll say right now, the legal framework does not allow, because we only have 2.5 years. Remember, it also stipulates that you can only do it 12 months. You can incorporate the changes 12 months before the elections. You cannot, and therefore the time frame is not with us. I didn't mention the legal, we say between 8 and 12 years. Again, it is tight, it is gone. That one is gone. We are not there. There is an opportunity because remember the NADCO report said it can actually be done with a resolution of Parliament. So that resolution, I don't know when it will begin, but if we go the NADCO way, I think it can be done. But for me, I think the legal timelines are not with us. And again, it's a process. You know, the issue of stakeholder engagement, even involving the provincial administration, because constituencies are also sub-counties nowadays, involving community gatekeepers, is a whole process. And again, we don't have finances. It's a very expensive exercise, and I don't think currently we have finances for that. But again, as NADCO proposed, I think it is possible.
Thanks so much, and I wish you well.
Thank you. I invite Fatuma to ask you some questions, please.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Lemiso, would you please tell the panel how you'll be able to manage the risks while respecting the rights of content creators, since the phenomena of social media seems to often outspace IEBC communication?
Thank you. There are many risks with, that come with that. And I think the first thing, enforcement of the law, because the law is very clear. We have computer misuse law, it is there. So if we can really enforce the law, I think the social media space, if we can just redirect the misinformation to good information, I think it can also work, because what is happening is that there is a lot of misinformation. And then again, I think, in my opinion, if we can engage the companies, the social media companies, they can also assist us in redirecting those risks, so that at least we have a positive social media.
What do you have to say about monitoring real time?
Yes, when it comes to IEBC, I think it needs to come up with a unit, at least to be monitoring social media and correcting the misinformation. So IEBC needs to be ahead of the pack, so that at least it can correct any misinformation as it comes. So that unit needs to be there, so that they monitor social media real time and correct all the misinformation.
Since you mentioned your peace and conflict manager at some point, it's not necessarily all the time that there are competing interests between social media influencers or content creators and the communication team. How would you mitigate and create a collaborative way of working so that you take advantage of that social media space, even run by others, and also utilizing the space within your own communication strategy?
You are right, it's not always negative. I think there are positive aspects of social media. And when you look at communication, you can actually partner with them, so long as you know you have trained them, you have engaged them, you know exactly what you want, so that now instead of them giving that negative info, they give you what exactly you need as a commission.
Thank you. Chair.
Thank you. I want to ask Nicodemus Bore to ask you some questions. Nicodemus, please.
Thank you very much, Chair. Lemiso, you have indicated that you worked with IEBC for some time. There was a memorandum that has been brought to the attention of the Commission. I'm sure you have received the memorandum also. Have you received any memorandum?
From
the selection panel?
No. No, I've not received any. So far, I haven't.
Okay. So in the memorandum, they have one person has indicated the issue of the 𝐲𝐞𝐿𝐴 case. You are aware about it?
𝐲𝐞𝐿𝐴? Yes, I am aware.
Is it possible to tell these panelists what transpired and what came out of the case?
Thank you very much. Towards 2013 general elections, as manager, electoral planning and logistics, I facilitated distribution of 22 million voter acknowledgement slips. I distributed all other voter registration materials, including biometric voter registration materials, to all corners of this republic. Thereafter, I also coordinated distribution of general election materials, including ballot papers. After that, I was accused and taken to court for stealing an acknowledgement slip worth 5 shillings. And this was after distributing materials worth billions of shillings. I was taken to court and later interdicted by the commission. Thereafter, the court itself set me free. That was in 2019. The court closed the case, and I am now a free man, and I don't have any other case.
So now, because you worked as a logistic and manager in IEBC.
May I just follow up something before you ask your second question? Is 𝐲𝐞𝐚𝐫@gmail.com your email address?
Yes,
When did you last check it?
this morning.
And you have not received any communication from the IEBC
There is nothing in my inbox.
in your spam?
Chair, I did not check spam. I'm sorry, I did not. I don't normally check spam, but my mail, my inbox, I checked.
Okay, Koki?
Thank you, Chair. Just to confirm something as a follow-up, your interview was rescheduled.
Yes,
And did you receive the notification for that rescheduling of the interview?
now, Chair, what happened?
It's a simple yes or no. Did you receive the notification for the rescheduling?
In my inbox, no.
Okay.
How did you receive that change?
There was an SMS that was sent to me, and it directed me to a portal, and I changed. But Chair, on Friday, a lady from, I think, Parliament called me,
Yes?
and they asked me whether I had received notification. I told her no, I have not received any notification. And she told me to check in spam. She sent again. She said she's sending again. And when I check spam, because you know you have to be very careful with spam, because sometimes it even has viruses. So when I checked, I opened that just where it was the top, because it has many. I opened just one, and that notification was there.
Okay, Bore, proceed.
So is between 2010 and 2017, you also served as the manager of the logistics at IEBC. What were your achievements during your tenure, and how do you intend to leverage on your experience if appointed?
Thank you. That's a good question. I did mention that we developed the strategic plan for the Commission, the very first strategic plan for IEBC. I was heavily involved. Later, we also assist the Commission in crafting the Elections Act and the election regulations. as manager of of logistics, I must say that I did the 2013 logistics plan and distributed all the materials in good time. The ballot papers, the ballot boxes, and remember it was the first time we were conducting 6 elections in a day. So it was very difficult, and I think that experience I got at that time, I can bring it back to the commission, because let me just tell you this. Logistics is not evil. It is the backbone of the elections. And personally, I spent like weeks in the warehouse. I actually moved from Anniversary Towers to the IEBC warehouse. And I worked there 24 hours. I used to sleep maybe for 1 or 2 hours. And therefore, that experience, the experience I have, especially in the distribution of materials and the ballot papers, I think I want to bring it to the commission. Chair, I also did a lot of, I supported the regions in doing the trainings. I supported the regions in now going there and build their capacity in logistics, distribution materials. I also train my people, because we have logistic officers up to constituency level. I also train them, and I want to bring that experience to the commission.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Lemiso. I wish you all the best.
Professor Adams, please ask some questions.
Thank you, Chair. Bwana Ninito Lemiso, you are Manager, Electoral Planning and Logistics IEBC.
Yes.
Between when and when?
2010. I resigned in 2017.
So you were in position all those years?
No. I was in position, but because of the case that I mentioned earlier, I wasn't addicted in 2013.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, I stayed out, but I was still getting half salary. I stayed out until I decided to resign on my own volition.
You were interdicted between 2013 and when?
And 2017, when I resigned.
So what made you resign?
To be honest, I thought that the case was taking a bit long. I was getting half a salary. I had children to feed, to educate. I was not even getting house allowance. And I was loyal to IEBC, very loyal. And I thought that I cannot move out and do other funny things without notifying the commission. So I decided to resign so that I can engage in other issues.
So the court cleared you in 2019?
The court cleared me in 2019.
When you resigned, where did you go to work?
I did farming. I was also, I assisted the Jubilee Party in conducting the nominations, and they detained me there. The Jubilee Party detained me there.
It is in the public domain that there were allegations that the directors of Jubilee Party bungled the 2017 Jubilee Party nominations. Are you aware of that?
Thank you. Those were allegations, and they remain the allegations. We conducted the party primaries to the best of our ability.
Thank you. Godfrey Ninito Lemiso is charged, is interdicted, resigns, takes a position in Jubilee, conducts its nominations. Godfrey Ninito Lemiso comes back, wants to be an IEBC commissioner. On ethics and integrity and chapter 6, just tell the panel and Kenyans why that cycle of events should make us still feel that you meet chapter 6.
Thank you. I want to believe that I meet chapter 6 because, one, I went through the due process. I went through the due process of the court, and the court cleared me. So I am as innocent as any other person now. I went to DCI, they gave me a clearance certificate. So yes, there was that case, and I don't believe I did it. I was not involved. I wasn't involved. It is true, I resigned. Again, people change jobs, and you can't resign today and then come back, and it does not affect your integrity. I conducted the nominations for the Jubilee Party, and that was a job like any other job. And therefore, it does not affect my integrity in any way. And I'm no longer with them.
Very well. This country has experienced nearly 3 occasions from different reasons where commissioners have resigned and put the country in what you can call destabilizing positions insofar as election matters are concerned. So if this panel and the country have before them people who have never resigned from their jobs, leave alone the commission, why should the country and this panel consider somebody who has already resigned from IEBC, given that past experience of commissioners resigning and destabilizing the electoral process?
Thank you. I think taking that bold step to resign, not being forced out by force, I think in itself is gratifying. I mean, on my own volition, I decide to pave way for others. Then I think I was not forced out. I resigned myself.
I'm agreeing.
In order to do other things.
What I'm asking, what assurance are you giving Kenyans that if this panel makes you a commissioner, you won't resign again to go and do other things? That's all I'm asking.
Thank you. That's a good question. Yeah. Chair, I resigned because of circumstances. I resigned because of circumstances. And to be honest with you, that case, that 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, you have mouths to feed, you have children to educate, you are not getting house allowance, you are on half pay. What do you do? I was forced by circumstances to resign so that at least I pave way for others.
Thank you, Chair.
Carol?
Thank you, Chairman. Godfrey, I have a follow-up question. The case, 𝐲𝐞𝐚𝐫 and yourself, again, the Republic against you. who withdrew the case?
Chair, the case was withdrawn by the Commission, IEBC.
Okay. I've seen that you say the case was withdrawn pursuant to the provision of Section 204 of the Criminal Procedure Code, where the complainant can withdraw. So the IBC was the complainant in the case?
And the ODPP?
No, the ODPP ideally prosecutes, cannot be the complainant. So the complainant was the IBC, and it's the one that withdrew the case.
Yes.
Okay.
So it was not an acquittal?
I had something else, Chair, I forgot to ask. So the memorandum that allegedly you say you have not received, the person who raised the issue is questioning your integrity, and is concerned is that during the span of that case, the 𝐲𝐞𝐚𝐫 and yourself case, you failed to attend court on several occasions whenever the case came up in court. They are concerned that that failure of yourself to attend court, occasioning the court to, to postpone the case or adjourn the case on every occasion that you missed court, delayed the court process, and they are questioning your suitability and your integrity. What do you say about that? First of all, did you fail to attend court on several occasions?
That's a good question. And I want to say that's a lie. That's a lie, and let me explain. It only happened once. I had a running stomach. I arrived in court very early, as usual, and I went to relieve myself, and by the time I was coming back, it was, I think, the first case, it was mentioned. And I remained in court until the end, and there was no warrant. And it only happened once.
The report we have is that the case, your attendance was missing on 2 occasions. On the, this is on the 5th of April, 2018, and this other one is on the 29th of May, 2018. On 2 different occasions. Were you unwell on those 2 different occasions?
I was the first one. I said I was in court. I only went out to relieve myself, and by the time I came back, I think my case was the first one, and I remained in court. Now, the second occasion, the court moved. I think there were some repairs or something, and it was moved, and there was no warrant because I never left the courtroom, without clarifying my position. I was always there. I attended the court 100%.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Godfrey. Thank you, Chairman.
Prof, do you have your last 2 questions, please?
Let's now take you away from the court cases to more familiar general issues of Kenya. Who is the chairperson of the National Land Commission?
Mutachi?
Does he have another name? Very well. We go to the next one. Which provision of the Constitution made Kenya a one-party state, and when was it repealed?
It was repealed in 1992.
And which?
Section 2A.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Do you have any question or comment to make?
Thank you, Chair. I don't have a question. I just want to thank you, Chair, for the engagement. I really enjoyed the engagement. and I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and blessings to you. Remember to pick your certificates. They are at the door. The notebook is yours, and the pen. Please, blessings to you. Thank you. Bye.